Welcome to the Assassin's Creed Timeline Part 4, The Auditore Legacy. In Part 3, we saw the young assassin Altaïr free the Levantine Brotherhood from the grip of a madman, taking his place as the new mentor and leading them into a new age, as he learned the secrets of the first civilization, ending with an aging Altaïr sending his knowledge with the Polo brothers, introducing the ways of the assassins to new lands. Altaïr's teachings made their way across the Brotherhood, and the assassins operated in many ways that called back to their roots. Instead of very public fortresses that served as a base of operations, they reverted back to hiding in the shadows of the people, a philosophy stressed heavily by Bayek, when the assassins were known as the Hidden Ones. The conflict between the Templars and assassins had no end in sight, as the Templars continued searching for Isu artifacts in their quest for control, and the assassins struggled to stay one step ahead. After Altaïr's death, his son Darim traveled to Bayek's homeland of Egypt and stayed there with his family and his deceased brother's family, helping to strengthen the Brotherhood. The time of the pharaohs had faded away, and in its place was an abusive government put into power by the Templars. With the help of the assassins, a slave revolt toppled the government, and a sultan trusted greatly by the assassins was put into power. Darim gave the sultan an apple of Eden to ensure his place as the leader of Egypt, and used its power to promote peace and prosperity for all of Egypt's people. In the year 1340, another artifact given to the sultans of Egypt by the assassins was stolen by the Egyptian Templars, the Scepter of Aset, an Isu tool that would grant whoever possessed it the power to subtly influence others. At the same time, the Templars sent one of their agents, a young woman named Layla, who was a concubine of the current sultan, to murder the ruler, and she succeeded with ease, before being caught and placed into prison. After the sultan's death, the Egyptian Brotherhood appointed the assassin Numa al-Kamsin and his apprentice Ali to track down the artifact and retrieve it from Templar hands. After a year of searching for the Templar whereabouts, Numa and Ali found the Templar hideout where the scepter was being kept, as Ali started a fire and Numa attacked the Templars. In the chaos, Ali was able to steal the scepter, and the pair, successful in their mission, traveled to Cairo, informing the current rulers of Egypt that the scepter would remain in the assassin hands until a worthy sultan presented himself. Outraged by Numa's words, they ordered his arrest, and he was thrown into the same cell as the sultan's killer Layla. The two spoke about their roots, and Layla claimed she used the Templars only to get close to the Sultan and strike him down. Eventually, the two worked together to escape, parting ways, a mistake that would later cost Numa everything. Rejoining his apprentice, Numa discovered that he had been captured by the Templars and tortured for information. And at that moment, Numa was ambushed by the Templars, led by Layla, and was killed by her with a knife through the chest, leaving Ali to fend for himself, as he managed to escape with the scepter, hiding it deep inside a well away from the Templars. Eventually, Layla discovered the well, falling in and receiving a massive head injury. Although she did survive, her memories were lost, and she lived out her remaining days with no knowledge of the scepter. And the Templar plot in Egypt had failed. Years later in Italy, during the late 1400s, art, culture, and science were flourishing under inspired minds. This was the Renaissance. But under the surface, widespread corruption caused by Templars working in the shadows of kings and politicians was the reality. And the assassin order the Polo brothers had started was going strong. One of the most dedicated and loyal assassins of the Italian Brotherhood was Giovanni Auditore, who together with his wife Maria would bring a child into the world that would be as important to the entire order as the legendary Altaïr. On June 24th, 1459, the second son of Giovanni and Maria was born, Ezio Auditore.
Give him here.
Giovanni.
Shh, my love. It will be all right. Tu sei un auditore. Sei un combattente. Perciò. Listen to him. A fine set of lungs.
And what shall we call him, my love?
Ezio. Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
Eventually, the Auditore family grew in size. Ezio already had his older brother Federico, his younger brother Petruccio, and his younger sister Claudia. None of Giovanni's children were aware of his role as an assassin, although they were aware of his late-night departures from the home and were suspicious of his cover story as a banker. The family was extremely close, but Giovanni felt it best not to expose his children to the truth until they were ready to train as assassins themselves. In the year 1476, Giovanni discovered a group of Templars led by Rodrigo Borgia, the Grand Master of the Roman Templars who had already infiltrated the Catholic Church and was working slowly to spread the Templar influence. Templars. Giovanni attacked the group but was unsuccessful in killing Rodrigo as the Templar leader escaped to safety. He had suspicions that the Templars had plans in Italy and began investigating what those plans could entail. Eventually, he discovered that Rodrigo, his Borgia family, and the Templars had planned to take down the leaders of Italy's main cities and place his own men in power. Eventually, he tracked down Rodrigo once more, and the Templar leader offered to employ the skilled assassin, but Giovanni was dedicated to fighting for mankind's freedom. An offer from a Templar would never sway a true assassin.
He's all yours. Get him!
Rodrigo Borgia had escaped, and with his hidden blade broken and a chest injury from a throwing knife, Giovanni returned home where his wife Maria tended to his wounds. And back in Rome, Rodrigo Borgia and his fellow Templars gathered, deciding that the biggest threat to their plans was the assassin Giovanni Auditore, and devised a plot to get rid of him. This leads us to the year 1476, and the events of Assassin's Creed II. Giovanni's son Ezio grew up in luxury, living a fairly normal life for a teenager in Renaissance Italy. In his youth, he had a crush on a local girl named Cristina Vespucci, and following his brother's encouragement, he attempted to get to know her, and failed to impress her.
What?
What?
Why are you just standing there?
Oh, because I wanted to ask you something. Which is... What's your name?
Not one you'll ever need to make use of.
Aspetta, I wasn't ready. I was planning on being really charming and funny. And I just have a second chance. Oh well.
But not one to be deterred, Ezio followed her home where she was pursued by another boy called Vieri. After rejecting him repeatedly, Vieri prepared to force himself on her, at which point Ezio intervened.
Pay for interfering. Your whole family will.
Thank you. That was very kind of you.
Are you alright?
I am now.
Cristina thanked Ezio, and eventually the two became close and began a relationship, later defending her honor once again as Vieri and his gang started a fight with Ezio, his older brother, and friends of the Auditore family.
Afraid to handle things yourself?
Your sister seemed quite satisfied with the handling I gave her earlier.
Uccidetelo!
Ezio spent his days with Cristina and running errands for his family, who he loved greatly and was extremely protective over. He gathered eagle feathers from rooftops for his little brother, who collected them, and picked up paintings for his mother from a young artist she liked called Leonardo da Vinci, a man that would grow to be one of Ezio's lifelong friends.
He's very talented.
Immagino.
Self-expression is vital to understanding and enjoying life. You should find an outlet.
I have plenty of outlets.
I meant besides vaginas.
Mother.
Back to your house then.
See.
Ezio also discovered that his younger sister Claudia's boyfriend was being unfaithful to her and tracked him down, beating him up.
Oh, Duccio.
Hey, lurido porco!
Ezio, my friend. Ah! Ma che ti piglia?
You insult my sister. You broke her heart.
Ha! And now I'm going to break your face.
Bastardo!
Kill that stupid
But after being sent on an errand by his father, Ezio's life would be turned upside down, and his close-knit family broken. As he returned home, he found the residence ransacked, with his father and brothers missing, and his mother and sister hiding. Rodrigo Borgia and his Templars had worked behind the scenes to frame Giovanni and his family as conspirators, attempting to work against the people of Florence. Giovanni told Ezio to find a chest hidden in his office that contained a letter proving their innocence, and asked him to deliver it to Uberto Alberti, a close friend of the Auditore family that could set them free. Ezio also discovered his father's broken hidden blade and assassin robes, putting them on to hide his identity as he traveled to meet with Uberto. Ezio brought the letter to him, and he was promised that his family would be released the following day. But unknown to Ezio, Uberto had betrayed the family and was secretly part of the Templar Order. The next day, he returned to free his family and found only pain and betrayal.
You are the traitor, Roberto, and one of them. You may take our lives this day, but we will have yours in return, I swear! We will! Father! There! Grab the boy! He's one of them! I'll kill you for what you've done! Guards! Arrest him!
Enraged by the death of his father and brothers, Ezio charged the gallows in an attempt to avenge them and was convinced by a thief who was one of his father's allies to run, taking shelter in a brothel run by a woman named Paola, who was secretly a member of the Italian Brotherhood of Assassins. Ezio was burning with the desire to make those responsible for his family's death pay with their lives. Paola knew the injustice that happened and helped teach Ezio some of the skills of the assassins, teaching him how to blend into crowds and operate within the shadows. He also found his friend Leonardo da Vinci, and da Vinci repaired his father's broken hidden blade.
Now all that's left is to remove your ring finger.
Really?
I'm sorry, but this is how it must be done. The blade is designed to ensure the commitment of whoever wields it.
Bene. Do it quickly.
I was only having fun, Ezio. Though the blade once required a sacrifice, it's been modified. You can keep your finger.
Equipped with the skills of the assassins, but unable to calm the rage he felt, Ezio discovered the whereabouts of Uberto and ended him with a vicious brutality.
The Auditore are not dead! I'm still here! Me! Ezio! Ezio Auditore!
Killing Uberto in such an open fashion against the teachings of Altaïr and Bayek caused Ezio to become the most wanted man in Florence, and he was forced to leave the city with his mother and Claudia. While leaving Florence, they were confronted by Vieri de Pazzi, the boy Ezio had beaten up for going after Cristina and his gang. After the confrontation, the group arrived at the Auditore family villa in Monteriggioni, where Ezio met his uncle Mario, his father's brother who he hadn't seen for years.
You have my thanks.
Keep the sword, Ezio.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Don't you recognize me? It's me, Mario!
Uncle Mario?
It's been too long, Nipote. Far too long.
Mario was the leader of the Italian Brotherhood and fully revealed the existence of the Assassin Order to Ezio, attempting to encourage the boy to join them and learn their ways like his father had. Initially refusing to be part of the Brotherhood, Ezio eventually agreed to learn and spent time with his uncle learning the ways of the assassins in an effort to defend the villa against continuous attacks from Vieri and the Pazzi family, who had also been working with the Templar Order. In 1478, Mario and Ezio found Vieri meeting with Rodrigo Borgia and other Templars. Realizing that Vieri was a Templar and had a part to play in his father's death, an out-of-control Ezio attacked his target and received a lesson from his uncle about respecting the dead.
Pezzo di merda! Vorrei solo che avessi sofferto di più! Hai avuto la fine che meritavi! Spero che
Enough, Ezio! Show some respect.
Respect? After all that's happened, do you think he would have shown either of us such kindness?
You are not Vieri. Do not become him. Che la morte ti dia le pace che cercavi. Requiesca in pace.
He returned to Florence as a trained assassin to gather information on the Templar plans, but chose to visit Cristina, who revealed that she was to be married, thinking that she was never going to see Ezio again. Heartbroken, but understanding the situation, Ezio gave Cristina a final kiss and left. Unable to give in to his personal feelings, Ezio knew that he had to continue his mission of justice. He spent years uncovering the Templar plot to take power for themselves, forging relationships with allies to the Order, such as the Thieves Guild, who were professionals in gathering information, the Italian philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli, a loyal member of the Assassins, and Leonardo da Vinci continued giving him assistance by letting him use new inventions of his and upgrading his equipment. As he sharpened his skills as an assassin, Ezio struck down many of the Templars and dismantled their conspiracy piece by piece. The Assassins had also discovered the lost pages of Altaïr's codex and noticed it wasn't a normal journal. Altaïr had hidden coded messages within that Da Vinci worked to uncover, eventually figuring out the message spoke of a hidden vault that had great power within, and only a chosen prophet could open it. Ezio was familiar with the prophecy from his uncle and realized that the entire Templar plot was just a distraction. Rodrigo Borgia and the Templars' real mission was to find this mysterious vault and open it. At the same time, a Templar ship had just returned from the island of Cyprus, carrying an apple of Eden, and Ezio assassinated the guard protecting it, impersonating him and carrying the apple straight to the Templars, and confronting Rodrigo face to face, the man responsible for all of the pain that he had suffered. Rodrigo escaped with his life as the other assassins showed up, revealing their belief that Ezio was the prophet the message spoke of. They had all been working together for the past decade to officially induct Ezio into the Order, and the time had come for him to accept his family's legacy.
We work in the dark to serve the light. We are assassins.
Nothing is true.
Everything is permitted.
In this modern age, we are not so literal as our ancestors, but our seal is no less permanent. Are you ready to join us?
I am.
This only hurts for a while, brother. Like so many things.
Benvenuto, Ezio. You are one of us now.
Not understanding what the Apple of Eden truly was, Ezio took it to Da Vinci to be studied, mesmerized by its advanced technology. The assassins kept the apple hidden from Templar hands with an ally of the Order, as they worked to find the entrance to the secret vault. But the Templars were able to find the apple and attack, finally stealing it. While trying to locate the whereabouts of the stolen Apple of Eden, Ezio met an assassin, Louis de Sant'Angelo, that was looking for someone who could oversee a meeting involving his friend, an Italian explorer named Christopher Columbus. After discovering that Rodrigo would be at the meeting, Ezio rushed there and noticed that it was a trap. This pauses the story of Assassin's Creed II, taking us to the year 1491 and the events of Assassin's Creed II Discovery. After saving Columbus from the trap, the explorer revealed that he was getting ready to sail west, and Rodrigo Borgia was heavily interested in his plans and had stolen his atlas, which included the route Columbus was planning to take. The Templars knew there was a possibility of a new world untouched by their order far enough west, and wanted to get there before any assassin could. After retrieving the atlas and bringing it back to Columbus, Ezio was told that Spanish assassins were being held captive by the Spanish Inquisitor General Tomás de Torquemada, and felt it was his responsibility to free them. These were dangerous times in Spain. The Catholic Church was the most powerful organization of the time, and the Spanish Inquisition aimed to violently end the lives of non-Catholics, which the Templar Order took advantage of to wipe out its enemies in the region. Ezio temporarily paused his quest to reclaim the Apple of Eden and traveled to Spain to free his captured assassin brothers. Rodrigo was climbing through the ranks of the Catholic Church and had commanded General Torquemada to round up the assassins in Spain and burn them at the stake, claiming they were non-believers. The Spanish assassin Rafael Sanchez helped Ezio track down the captured assassins, and he worked to free them one by one. And while the assassins were being freed, another assassin from the Spanish Brotherhood, Aguilar de Nerja, who would play a key role during the conflict with the Spanish Templars, was officially inducted into the Order after his assassin parents were killed during the Inquisition.
Nuestras vidas no son nada. El espíritu del águila vigilará el futuro.
Cuando otros hombres sigan ciegamente la verdad, recuerda, nada es verdad. Cuando otros hombres están limitados por la moral o la ley, recuerda, todo está permitido.
Trabajamos en la oscuridad para servir a la luz. Somos asesinos.
After rescuing all of the captured assassins, Ezio infiltrated the fortress of Torquemada, and after a brief conversation, he closed the gates in front of him, preventing the assassin from being able to kill him. While he desired to stay and help in the fight against the Templars in Spain, Ezio knew the quest for the missing Apple of Eden was far too important, and left the destiny of Spain in the hands of the Spanish Brotherhood, as he returned to Italy to track down the artifact. As the Spanish assassin Aguilar continued his training and fought against the Templars, he became very close with his sparring partner Maria, and the two began a romantic relationship, often going on missions together. The assassins had long entrusted the Sultan Muhammad XII of the city of Granada with an Apple of Eden, and the Templars kidnapped his son, Prince Ahmed, as a ransom for the apple. Together with Maria, their mentor, and several other assassins, Aguilar ambushed the Templar force that had taken the prince hostage. The assassins were outnumbered and eventually overpowered, but Aguilar and Maria had managed to escape with the prince. They were eventually found by Torquemada's right-hand enforcer, Ojeda, and the two assassins were imprisoned and later sentenced to be burned at the stake. But on the morning of their execution, the Templars realized that Aguilar wouldn't be stopped so easily, freeing himself and rescuing Maria, both of them escaping through the streets, killing many of their pursuers along the way. In the year 1492, Muhammad XII surrendered his capital city of Granada to the Templars in order to save his son. And as the Templars entered the city, Maria and Aguilar made their way to the Sultan's palace and watched as he handed the Apple of Eden over. At that moment, the pair dropped smoke bombs, attacking the Templars and quickly eliminating the guards before capturing Torquemada and claiming the apple. But Ojeda had managed to grab Maria, and she paid with her life. With Torquemada's enforcer dead, and the Sultan and his son safe, a heavily wounded Aguilar made his escape through the tunnels beneath the palace, escaping to safety. He knew that the Apple of Eden would never be safe from Templar hands if it remained in his possession, so he tracked down Christopher Columbus, now a known ally of the assassins, and gave him the responsibility of protecting the Apple of Eden for the rest of his life. Aguilar continued to serve the assassins, eventually gaining the rank of Master Assassin, and becoming the mentor of the Spanish Brotherhood. And Christopher Columbus carried the apple his entire life, being buried with it in his tomb. Back in Italy, continuing the events of Assassin's Creed 2, Ezio returned to his hometown of Florence, discovering that while he was gone, Rodrigo Borgia had bribed his way up through the church and was now the Pope, the most powerful man in the world at the time. And the Apple of Eden was in the hands of a friar named Savonarola, who had taken control of Florence, hoping to cleanse everything in fire that he considered evil, such as art and wealth. Ezio worked to recover the apple from him, and in the year 1498, the fanatical followers of this new ruler infiltrated the home of Cristina Vespucci, the love of Ezio's life, in an attempt to kill her husband Manfredo. Manfredo attempted to fend them off, but was overpowered and left gravely injured, while Cristina escaped.
Cristina, hold on. I'll get you to a doctor. You're going to be all right.
No, Ezio. I don't think I am.
No! Don't go. Stay with me, Cristina.
Ezio, don't you know? I've always been with you. I wish we could have had a second chance.
Requiescat in pace. My love.
The chaos in Florence had to come to an end, and Ezio found Savonarola trying to use the apple to calm the mob that had turned against him. He threw a knife at him, knocking the apple out of his hand, and Ezio eventually retrieved it. And Savonarola was sentenced to be burned at the stake by the population, but Ezio, deciding that nobody should die in such a horrible way, gave him a quick death. With the Apple of Eden back in assassin hands and Altaïr's completed codex, the assassins gathered to discover the secrets it held, and the codex revealed that the secret vault was hidden for ages in Rome, directly under the Vatican, where Rodrigo enjoyed his power as the Pope, and Ezio decided to finally confront his enemy directly with nowhere left to hide. Finding Rodrigo, Ezio struck, delivering a killing blow, but the Borgia had already discovered a Staff of Eden and used its immense power to defend himself. Using the power of both artifacts, the two fought.
Fascinating. An impressive power, this. But if you think it's going to save you, you've another thing coming.
But Rodrigo eventually gained the upper hand, stabbing Ezio and stealing the apple. Quickly getting up from his injury, the young assassin witnessed Rodrigo trying to open the secret vault with no success and challenged him to a final duel. Ezio spared the Pope, tired of spending his entire life fueled by revenge, leaving the powerless, injured man on the ground as he claimed the Apple of Eden and the staff, using their combined power to open the door to the vault. This event would change the history of the assassins forever, as he entered to discover secrets hidden away for thousands of years.
Greetings, Prophet. It is good you have come. We must speak.
Who are you?
Many names. When I died, it was Minerva. Before that, Merva and Mera. And on. The others, too. Juno, who was before called Uni. Jupiter, who was before called Tinia. No, not gods. We simply came before.
Minerva, the Isu that had tried to save her world from ending, appeared before him. One of the interactive messages she had recorded ages ago as she looked through time. Ezio, having no clue what he was looking at, could only listen in confusion as she told him the story of the first civilization and the origins of humanity, and warned of an impending disaster. The solar flare that had destroyed the world once before was preparing to happen again in humanity's near future, within hundreds of years. Not understanding the nature of this coming disaster, Ezio was further perplexed when Minerva seemed to speak to someone that wasn't there, a mysterious individual she called Desmond, one of the inhabitants of the future that Minerva deemed would need to see this message.
None of what you are saying makes sense.
Our words are not meant for you.
What are you talking about? There's no one else here.
Enough. I do not wish to speak with you, but through you. You are the prophet. You've played your part. We are gone now from this world. All of us. We can do no more. The rest is up to you, Desmond.
What? Who is Desmond? I don't understand. Please, wait. I have so many questions.
As abruptly as she appeared, Minerva disappeared, leaving Ezio with many unanswered questions and closing off the events of Assassin's Creed 2. After leaving the vault with the Apple of Eden, Ezio escaped the Vatican with Mario and climbed a tower where he became unsure of what to do with the apple.
This decision is yours alone to make. Only do so quickly. Give it to me. You can do with it as you will later.
Bene.
Jump!
During the journey back to the Auditore villa, he shared the story of what he witnessed to his uncle, and that evening he revealed the same information to his remaining family and Machiavelli. Outraged that Ezio let Rodrigo live, Machiavelli left for Rome. Although he had defeated the Pope, he would soon learn that the threat of the Borgia family was far from over. This leads us to the year 1500 and the events of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. As peace seemed to come slowly back in Ezio's life, Cesare Borgia, the son of Rodrigo and the commander of the Pope's armies and a high-ranking Templar himself, laid siege to Monteregione. The attack was a complete surprise to the assassins, as Cesare's forces leveled half the city before Ezio managed to reach the cannons and defend it. Although defense of the city was a lost cause, they were able to hold the attack back long enough to evacuate the citizens, but Uncle Mario paid the price.
I know you're there, Ezio! The Pope told me about you and your little group of assassins. And this! Give me the gun his friend fashioned for us! I think the cleansing is in order. So consider this an invitation from my family to yours!
After making sure his mother and sister were safe, Ezio began making his way to Rome to meet with Machiavelli, but collapsed from his injuries, and woke up to find his wounds being treated by a stranger. After he recovered, he made his way to Rome and discovered that the Borgia family ruled the land with an iron fist, oppressing the people as the city fell into disrepair. Partially feeling responsible for allowing Rodrigo to live, Ezio knew it was his responsibility to bring peace back to the people of Rome. His desire for revenge was replaced with a sense of purpose, and his newfound knowledge made it more crucial than ever for the Assassin Order to remain strong. Working with the support of Rome's courtesans, thieves, and mercenaries, he made his way through the city, rooting out the Templars and burning towers representing Borgia power, bringing hope back to its citizens. The Auditore family became a shining beacon of light in the darkness, as even his sister Claudia became leader of the courtesans, sending them to help Ezio when he needed. While working towards tracking down Cesare, Ezio freed many people being attacked by their ruthless guards, inspiring them to join the Assassin Order. As these new recruits learned the way of the Brotherhood, Ezio sent them on missions throughout different regions in the world, using pigeons to communicate and influencing the future of the world at a global level. But Ezio had created the first worldwide interconnected network of assassin branches, communicating regularly and working together from multiple locations. And many of Ezio's Roman recruits quickly advanced to the rank of Master Assassins, a title reserved only for the most loyal, hard-working assassins. In the year 1503, Ezio sent a group of assassins to Constantinople, where they found maps of the New World that Christopher Columbus had discovered on his voyage, and found that the Templars were already expanding their influence in these newfound lands, so the assassins followed. After Ezio had sent these assassin immigrants from Europe, they made contact with the native people of the Caribbean, many of them choosing to join the Assassin Order, after finding similarities in their own way of living and the assassin ideology. Eventually, these assassins would form the Caribbean Assassins, and be crucial in the fight against the Templars, protecting artifacts such as the Fountain of Youth in Florida, which actually held an Apple of Eden within. While the Brotherhood continued growing strong worldwide, Ezio received news from his close friend Leonardo da Vinci that he had been forced by the Borgia to provide them with war machines that he had invented. He asked Ezio to track down these machines and destroy them, along with his original plans, and he destroyed all four, ensuring that such destruction would never fall into the wrong hands. Over time, his little sister Claudia was even admitted into the Assassin Order after proving herself time and time again to be just as deadly and swift as her brother, once even single-handedly protecting her people from a Templar attack. Machiavelli, seeing how strong of a leader Ezio had become, decided to step down as leader of the Italian assassins, as he deemed Ezio to be exactly what the Brotherhood needed. Although he stepped down as leader, he accepted the role of being Ezio's most trusted advisor. With most of Cesare Borgia's supporters dead, and the people turning to the assassins for hope, the Brotherhood found itself in command of the city. Infiltrating the Borgia castle, Ezio witnessed Rodrigo speaking to his son, upset with his failures, as Cesare's sister Lucrezia barged in and warned her brother that Rodrigo was trying to poison him.
Cesare! He intends to poison you!
listen to reason.
Father, do you not see? I control all of this. If I want to live, I live. If I want to take, I take. If I want you to die, you die!
With Rodrigo dead, the only big Borgia threat remaining was Cesare, who was desperate for power and trying his best to cling to the small amount he had left. In the year 1504, Ezio's mother Maria succumbed to an illness and passed away, leaving Ezio and Claudia as the last surviving members of his family, leaving the two devastated. And in the year 1507, at the age of 48, Ezio finally tracked down Cesare and ended the Borgia family, dismantling the Roman Templars.
I cannot die! Fortuna will not fail me! I am the best fighter who ever lived!
This ends the events of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Over the next 2 years, Ezio became obsessed with uncovering Altaïr's secrets, since his encounter with Minerva haunted him with questions that he had no answers for. Eventually, he discovered documents belonging to his uncle Mario, and a letter written by his own father that mentioned a sealed library under the assassin castle of Masyaf, where the Levantine assassins were based centuries before. Ezio saw Altaïr as his spiritual mentor, as he had studied his teachings and tried his best to apply them to the Brotherhood's worldwide operations. In the year 1510, driven by a will to learn more about his own order, Ezio set sail for Syria to find Altaïr's hidden library. Arriving in Syria, Ezio made his way to Masyaf and found the town crumbled and abandoned. This takes us to the year 1511 and the events of Assassin's Creed Revelations. The old assassin fortress was being guarded by a garrison of Templars under the command of their leader, Leandros, who was aware that the fortress held some sort of secret. Outnumbered by the Templars, Ezio nonetheless attempted to fight them off.
Masyaf has not been home to the assassins for almost 300 years now. Can we still claim it for our own? Are we welcome there? I am wary of this fight, Claudia. Not because I am tired, but because our struggle seems to move in one direction only, towards chaos. Today, I have more questions than answers. This is why I've come so far. To find clarity. To find the wisdom left behind by the great Altaïr. So that I may better understand the purpose of our fight. And my place in it.
The Templars took him to the top of the fortress and led him onto a plank to be hanged, but the master assassin would not be killed so easily. Ezio made his way beneath the castle and found the old doors of the library, where Altaïr had sealed himself away, but had no idea how to open them. A worker maintaining the nearby area told Ezio that Leandros had the journal of Niccolo Polo in his possession, which led to the keys needed to open the library doors. Leaving the temple and following the trail of the Templar captain, he found Leandros attempting to escape by carriage, and confronted him and took the journal from him. After reading the journal, a 52-year-old Ezio traveled to Constantinople by ship, where Altaïr had entrusted the Polo brothers to hide the seals containing his memories, which also acted like keys to the door. As he arrived and disembarked from the ship, he was greeted by the leader of the local Turkish assassins, a man named Yusuf Tazim.
Hoş geldin kardeşim. Unless the legend is a lie, you are the man I long to meet. Renowned master and mentor. Ezio Auditore de la.
Prego.
Forgive me. I have a hard time remembering that Italian gibberish.
Da Firenze, the city where I was born.
Ah, yes. So, by your custom, I would be Yusuf Kazim da Istanbul. I like that.
Yusef told him the state of the city, describing how the Byzantines and the Ottomans fought for control of the city, as the Templars worked behind the scenes to gain influence. He also introduced the Italian master to the Turkish assassins, and also showed him some of their own innovations, such as the hook blade, a curved blade that allowed them to travel from rooftop to rooftop with ease. Ezio helped his fellow assassins take back 2 dens that they were forced to give up to Templar forces and work together with them to gather information on the Masyaf keys he was looking for. While exploring the city, Ezio was introduced to a Venetian bookseller named Sofia Sartor, who immediately caught Ezio's eye, and she inhabited an old trading post that was owned by Niccolo Polo. Here, there was a secret underground passageway where Ezio found one of the memory seals and an encrypted map which he was able to decode with Sofia's help. Thinking he would never be able to feel love again, he slowly developed feelings for Sofia, but couldn't bring himself to tell her about his involvement with the assassins in an effort to protect her from danger. As he found each key in the city, he was able to use the memory seals to experience Altaïr's memories, seeing his assassin mentor go from a young, angry man to an experienced mentor focused completely on the protection of humanity, to his very last moments as he gave his son a final goodbye. While getting the keys, Ezio also aided the Turkish assassins, preventing attacks on the young Prince Suleiman by Templar forces.
Ezio!
It is a relief to see you again. I am Suleiman.
Ezio Auditore.
But it was only a matter of time before Sofia became unintentionally involved in the conflict. While returning to her bookshop, he found it had been ransacked, and Yusef, who Ezio had asked to look over her, was dead. Ezio gave his assassin brother a final blessing and shut his eyes, declaring a renewed vengeance against those Templars who would dare cross the assassins.
Brothers, sisters, the whole city rises against us, while Yusuf's murderer waits and watches from the arsenal, laughing. Fight with me, and show him what it means to cross the assassins.
He discovered that Sofia was taken by Ahmet, Suleiman's uncle, who was secretly a Templar trying to make Constantinople his to control. Ahmet forced Ezio to give up the Masyaf keys, and he ordered Sofia's death anyways, as Ezio saw the young woman struggling as she was being hanged from a tree. Parachuting down, Ezio rescued her, and the two boarded a carriage and chased Ahmet down, who was rushing to Syria to use the keys. After the long chase and physical struggle, they encountered an army with Ahmet's brother Selim at its head. Selim knew his brother was craving power and strangled Ahmet to end his treachery.
Selim! Stop! Please!
Hearing great things about Ezio from his son Suleiman, he allowed Ezio to go free with Sofia and told him not to return to Constantinople. Revealing everything about his life to Sofia, she agreed to accompany him to Masyaf, and Ezio used the 5 keys Altaïr had hidden to open the door to find the library where Altaïr still remained.
No books. No wisdom. Just you, fratello mio. Requiescat in pace, Altaïr. Another artifact. No. You will stay here. I have seen enough for one life. Desmond? I heard your name once before, Desmond. A long time ago. And now it lingers in my mind, like an image from an old dream. I do not know where you are, or by what means you can hear me. But I know you are listening. I have lived my life as best I could, not knowing its purpose, but drawn forward like a moth to a distant moon. And here at last, I discover a strange truth. That I am only a conduit for a message that eludes my understanding. Who are we, who have been so blessed to share our stories like this? To speak across centuries? Maybe you will answer all the questions I have asked. Maybe you will be the one to make all this suffering worth something in the end. Now, listen.
Activating the Apple of Eden, Ezio allowed the message from the first civilization to play. Similar to when he experienced the vision of Minerva, he now saw Jupiter speaking with Desmond, the stranger from the future, revealing the details behind the disaster that destroyed the world and revealing the location of the Grand Temple, where the Isu had attempted to find a way to stop their destruction. After years of conflict and trying to understand his purpose, Ezio realized that he was nothing more than a conduit for a message that was never meant for him. Accepting his role, Ezio for the first time felt as if he had fulfilled his life's goals, concluding the events of Assassin's Creed Revelations. Ezio and Sophia returned to Venice together and married. In late 1512, they went to Rome with Claudia, congratulating them on their union, and 3 years later, in 1515, Ezio retired from the Assassin Order, choosing a new mentor for the Italian Brotherhood. Although he had retired, Ezio continued to have involvement in the Order, supervising the training of some recruits and sharing his knowledge. He settled down in the Tuscan countryside with Sophia, where the couple had 2 children, Flavia and Marcello. In 1519, Ezio suffered a chest infection, resulting in a recurring cough. And that same year, he received news from Machiavelli that their mutual friend Leonardo da Vinci was greatly sick, and Ezio traveled to France, being at his friend's side at the moment of his death. While Ezio enjoyed his retirement years in peace with his family, the Assassin Order was suffering in other parts of the world. In China, the Ming Dynasty ruled the region, and the emperor, known as the Zhengdi Emperor, had many concubines he forced into his service. One of these concubines gave birth to a daughter named Xiao Yun, also raised to be his, living her life in captivity from a young age. After the Emperor's death in 1521, Xiao Yun uncovered the secret war between the Templars, calling themselves the Tigers in this region, and the Assassins. A 16-year-old Xiao Yun realized that the Tigers would try and claim power among the vacuum created by the Emperor's death, and she saw the Assassin Brotherhood as a chance for her freedom. She contacted the Assassins and they broke into the royal palace, rescuing her along with several other girls. Immediately loyal to her rescuers, Xiao Yun dedicated the next 5 years to training in the assassin ways, attaining the full rank of assassin. But the new emperor was a cruel and ruthless man, controlled by the Tigers, as Xiao Yun feared would happen. Under his orders, the Chinese Brotherhood of Assassins was massacred, and the very few who survived went into hiding. Xiao Yun fled China with her master and decided to find the legendary mentor they heard so much about, Ezio Auditore, in an effort to gain his help. But after arriving in Venice in the year 1524, Xiao Yun's master was killed by Templar agents as the young woman escaped and made it to Ezio's villa, seeing his daughter Flavia. Noticing a hooded stranger was approaching his daughter, Ezio panicked and rushed towards her, grabbing her and pausing as he noticed the assassin insignia hanging from the necklace that she wore.
Lei gentile, papà.
Go inside, Flavia.
Xiao Yun told him what was happening in China and was hoping that he would teach her how to unite the assassins of her homeland to strike back at the Tigers. However, Ezio refused to be involved, putting that part of his life behind him, but he did agree to give her shelter, allowing her to stay a couple of nights at the villa. The next day, Xiao Yun accompanied him into Florence while he ran errands, as they discussed how to inspire hope within people, and how important love was within the beliefs of the Order. But at that time, Chinese agents of the Templar Tigers had finally tracked her down, attacking the pair. Both assassins expected Ezio's villa to get attacked after this, so Ezio sent his family away to Machiavelli's home for protection, and the two waited for the attack. As expected, the Templars showed themselves that night, and they worked together to destroy them. Finally deciding to help her, Ezio taught Xiao Yun various combat skills and stealth techniques that she would later need in exacting her revenge against the Templars. After training with the legendary mentor, Ezio gave her a small chest of Isu origin, telling her to only open it if she lost her way, knowing that in fact the box was empty, to teach Xiao Yun to accept the responsibility that only she could decide what path to follow. He saw in her the same rage and anger that he had in his youth, but didn't encourage her to act for the sake of revenge. With her new wisdom, Xiao Yun traveled back to China to free her people and rebuild her brotherhood. In Florence, Ezio decided to go shopping in the market with his family, and suddenly felt ill, sitting on a bench and feeling at peace, looking at his family.
When I was a young man, I had liberty, but I did not see it. I had time, but I did not know it. And I had love, but I did not feel it. Many decades would pass before I understood the meaning of all three. And now, in the twilight of my life, this understanding has passed into contentment. Love, liberty, and time, once so disposable, are the fuels that drive me forward. And love, most especially, mio caro. For you, our children, our brothers and sisters, and for the vast and wonderful world that gave us life and keeps us guessing. Endless affection, mia Sofia. Forever yours, Ezio Auditore.
A lifetime of conflict and purpose had finally come to an end in the year 1524 as a 65-year-old Ezio breathed his last. But the legacy of Ezio Auditore lived on through his teachings. Reaching China in the year 1526, Xiao Yun traveled through a network of old abandoned Brotherhood safe houses and eventually found Wang Yangming, a Chinese assassin master who had originally taught her. He was amazed with her newfound knowledge and skills and watched as the young and experienced assassin he watched grow up was now a skilled killer. It was time for Xiao Yun to bring bloody retribution to the Tigers and decided to use the precursor box that Ezio had given her as bait. Successfully drawing out the Tigers, Xiao Yun purposefully allowed herself to be captured by one of the 8 Tigers ruling China, called Gao Feng. This leads us to the year 1526 and the events of Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. Feng took the box Ezio had given her, attempting to unlock its mysteries, and she escaped her cell, tracking down Gao Feng and killed him.
Your men did not capture me, Gao Feng. I allowed myself to be caught. I was exactly where I wanted to be. Close enough to kill you.
After she left the prison, she met with Wang as he revealed that he had also eliminated one of the Tigers. As she traveled through her homeland, Xiao Yun struck the Tigers down with no mercy and reclaimed the box that Ezio had given her. The 4th Tiger, Kui Yu, in retaliation for the death of his Templar comrades, set a huge fire, and many innocents died, forcing Xiao Yun to have feelings of guilt, knowing that she was partly to blame in her quest for revenge. But Wang reminded her that her need for revenge is a task she couldn't contain in her heart, and had to put her emotions aside to succeed. She spent the next 3 years trying to find the leader of the Tigers, and eventually found the 5th Tiger, Wei Bin, who led the slaughter of the Chinese Brotherhood. As Wei Bin let out his dying breaths, he revealed that Zhang, the leader of the Tigers, was hunting down Wang, and she left to save her mentor but was too late. Now Xiao Yun was truly alone, the very last Chinese assassin. Realizing that her mission would be meaningless if she continued losing those she cared about, she knew she had to work faster and end the Tigers before they could harm more innocents. By the year 1532, only one Tiger remained, their leader, Zhang Yang, who she tracked down to the Great Wall of China, where he planned to let the Mongols invade China in return for a seat of power afterwards. Refusing to allow her entire country to be invaded, Xiao Yun killed the Mongol scouts along the wall and closed the wall's gates, blocking the barbarians from entering her home. Xiao Yun reached Zhang among the bombardment from the infuriated Mongol forces, ending the Tigers forever, guaranteeing a new tomorrow for China and all of its people.
I started this journey for vengeance, but I've understood now that it's pointless. I have found a better goal to pursue.
And what is that?
The future. A new tomorrow for China and its people. I will undo all that you have done. I will rebuild the Brotherhood and recruit those who wish to make our land a place of freedom. Those ready to die to fight men like you. Your Templar world will not happen. The assassins will rise again.
Mentor, the Emperor is dead.
The elixir of life?
Yes, it killed him, as you had planned.
His son will follow in his footsteps. The wall will protect the people now, and so shall we.
And what happens when Christopher Columbus's discovery of a new world becomes a battleground to satisfy the greed of a kingdom half a world away? Join me next time for the Assassin's Creed Timeline Part 5, The Golden Age of Piracy, where we'll head to the Caribbean of the 1700s, a sea of outlaws, as a selfish pirate obsessed with gold and glory finds new meaning within the Assassin Order, and witness a world where the lines between Assassin and Templar become increasingly blurred.